They said the truth won't survive beside the lies that maintain the decaying faces of this place.
Hey everybody, this is Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. Now, this is a video request by Anthony Williams, who asked me about my thoughts on the Dr. Dre divorce. And, his wife asking for $2 million a month. What you gotta understand, and I'm gonna say this, man, and this is gonna be one of the most important lessons a lot of men need to understand. We men suffer from a very, very problematic thing that the government takes advantage of. And what the government takes advantage of is the fact that we men look at what other men go through a third person perspective. What I mean by that, when I say we look at each other through a third person perspective, is that when we see something happens to another man, we do not, we do not look at it from a first person perspective, as in you're looking at what he's going through as something that could happen to you. That's one of the biggest things that a lot of men haven't learned. A lot of people call it when you see someone get touched and burned, you know what I'm saying? If you're the one who also, you have to feel it to actually avoid it, you know what I'm saying? To actually avoid it, you have to feel it, then that's the problem. The thing with what happened to Dr. Dre is that Dr. Dre didn't learn from somebody like you know what I'm saying? He didn't learn from what happened to Jeff Bezos. What happened to Jeff Bezos is that his wife divorced him and got $50 billion in Amazon assets and all that. I'm gonna go back through that. I'm gonna get back to what that does. Why in fact, and I want to thank you, Anthony Williams, for asking me about this. I was gonna do something similar video-wise, but now I could link it together. What does Dr. Dre's divorce mean? What does Anthony McGregor, aka guy who played Obi-Wan Kenobi, means? Why can Dr. Dre's wife ask for $2 million a month? You have to understand that she understands that the whole no-fault divorce was created when the government in the 60s, I think no-fault divorce started in, 1969. It was a declaration by the government of war against male stability. Let me repeat that. The no-fault divorce was a declaration on the war against male stability. You see, the reason a woman could ask for, in Dr. Dre's case, his wife, for $2 million a month, is that no-fault divorce has no logic behind it at all. It wasn't created with a logic or reasoning to begin with. It was created for the sole goal of removing a man of his maximum resources. It's to remove that man's resources and to, quote unquote, split it with the wife, when in reality the government's gonna get a huge cut of that. And now this is why I say you men, a lot of men gotta learn. You gotta learn to look at what another man goes through. And sad to say, it's part of our nature to look at another man and see what he's gone through as something we could overcome. You know what I'm saying? It's like a challenge. But when you see something happen to a man, you play Call of Duty, first person perspective. Look at what's happening to that man as a first person perspective of something that's happening to you. We got to learn to look at other men Not looking at them from a third person perspective, like you see their body. You got to look at it as this is what's happening to me. And let me evaluate that. You got to look at it like you're analyzing something that happened to you. Now, what you got to understand, the reason she's so comfortable asking for 2 million is she knows that the government wants that man to lose his resources. They want him to be unstable. That's why for any man that marries in a country of no fault divorce, you might as just, in all honesty, you might as just take half of your earnings and throw it away. You know what I'm saying? Take half of your earnings and throw it in the water. You know what I'm saying? Throw it in the water, because that's what your wife's gonna do anyway. You might as just, if you really want to feel divorce and recover from it, what I want y'all to do, and I want you to take this to heart. Take this as practice. I want you to take half of your check. In fact, not only half. I want you to take about 75% of your check. Before you cash it, I want you to take 70% out of that and hide it somewhere. I want you to hide that check from yourself. You know what I mean? Hide 75% of your check, because 50% isn't enough. You won't feel enough pain from that. I want you to take half of your check. No, I want you to take more than half. 75% of that check. Take it out. Put it somewhere you can't reach it. Don't put it in your savings. Don't put it nowhere there. Put it somewhere in the house. Try to lose that money and see how you're gonna feel. See how you're gonna feel, and see how much of a mental strain it's gonna have on you. That's what I want you to do. You know what I'm saying? I want you to try that out. I want you to try before you cash your check, take 75% out and hide it. And hide it like and try to lose it and see what happens to you. See what happens to you. Now, what you got to understand is that what they're doing, and this is the bigger aspect. I'm going to dive deep here, man. Going to go deep, Anthony. You know what I mean? Anthony Williams, thank you for asking for this one. But here's the bigger picture. Have you not noticed that, the middle class is struggling? You know what I'm saying? The middle class is struggling. They're attacking the middle class with taxes. They're attacking the middle class with, they're raising the rate on the middle class. But what most people don't look at is the effect that divorce has on the middle class. The effect that child support, the effect that alimony has on the middle class. And let me tell you, some people will look at this and say, yo, truth, man, hold the truth hostage. You're being paranoid. You're bringing up some conspiracy theories. No, I'm not bringing up any conspiracy theories. I'm breaking it down on a level you're not used to. Here's why I say it's an attack on the middle class. And in all honesty, it's an attack on a man's resources. You see, when the government passed no-fault divorce, like I was saying, it was about removing the resources from a man. But it's not only that. It goes further than that. What it was about it was about removing the right for a man to compete equally. You see, when you have alimony and child support hovering over your head, that if you disappoint your wife or your significant other, guess what you're not doing as a man? And this is why in a country where you have no fault divorce and child support that's not given through the actual court, that a family court doesn't exist, you should not have any. Here's why. You see, before the family court and before child support and alimony, what you had is that men would get married, but they would still invest and start new businesses. You see, now if I'm a McDonald's, if I'm a Walmart, if I'm these big companies, it benefits me. No fault divorce benefits me because it takes away When a man gets divorced and he loses half of his pension, half of his, bank account, plus he has to pay alimony. Guess what he doesn't have? He doesn't have money to invest in new businesses or starting something new and innovative. He's gonna be too focused on recouping the money he lost and trying to survive. That's what you gotta look at with no fault divorce. No fault divorce is about removing the competition that could arise from a man with a family that wants to do better, that wants to leave a legacy for his children, which is a threat to a McDonald's, a threat to a Burger King. It's a threat to bigger, more established companies. No fault divorce is about actually limiting the playground. It's limiting. A lot of men don't know that during the Great Depression, a lot of new businesses were started. And notice the Great Depression, this is before no fault divorce, no fault marriage and all that. What it does and how it's killing the middle class is that because these fathers, once you get married, your wife is hanging that paper over you that I could divorce you at any moment and destroy you, is that these men are no longer about bettering their family status, raising their family status, starting new businesses. You see a lot of red pill channels talk about when you're married, you lose the ability to focus and your purpose and all that. That's a lie. What happened is when no fault divorce happened, that's when it happened. You gotta educate your fellow man, not just, well, when you get married, you can't start any new business. Of course you can't start any new business under no fault divorce. No fault divorce was created to limit the ability of the individual man to start a new business. And a lot of divorces are bleeding. They're not only bleeding men dry, but they're killing the middle class because these men lost money which they could have invested to start new companies, invest in stuff to make more money and more income. They lost all that through their alimony and divorce. That's what you men have to understand. That's what happens with the divorce. That's why Dr. Dre's wife is so comfortable asking for $2 million a month. You didn't do nothing. You just sat back there and slept with the guy. And here's the thing, he implanted those seeds for you to give birth. He gave you everything. But she knew with how no fault divorce works is that she thinks she's winning something. But in reality, this is why any woman that's divorced a man without justifiable cause, as in, he was beating her, abusing her and all that. And even then, it all depends on, what I'm saying, if she knew he was abusive to begin with, what was the ulterior motive when she married him? But a lot of these women think they're winning. In reality, this is why I say, if a woman brings up, especially a divorced woman that's on alimony, that's robbed that man, tries to say, I want to better the community and all that, it's a lie. If you wanted to better the community, you wouldn't have divorced your man, robbed that community of a resource, of a man that could invest in that community. Then you're destroying your child's future because dad has less investments, less resources to make future investments, less money to hire people. You have to look at divorce. Divorce has a dramatic effect. It has dire consequences on the economy because men are losing the money they could have used to invest and create new jobs and new opportunities when divorce happens. Like Jeff Bezos' wife literally divorced that man and made $50 billion. Some of the people, this is what I say, the majority of men that are going to say, well, truth, he's a billionaire, he's okay. No, he's not okay. You're not okay. Because that $50 billion he lost, and think about this, she could have just took $1 billion. She could have took 50 million. Instead, she took 50 billion from the man. That could have been investments for Amazon to create new jobs. That could have been investments for technology, as in going to space. That could have been investments for more jobs, more opportunities, more investments, and so on. You know, Amazon could have probably used that 50 billion to start giving away solar panels to Prime members. That $50 billion he lost was $50 billion of investment he could have put into the economy to stimulate it, create new jobs, new businesses. That's what a divorce does. And the government and more established corporations are benefiting from this. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about a married man who, in actuality, a man with a family is more driven than ever before because he really wants to place his family in a better condition. He really wants to put his children in a better position, business wise, career wise, legacy wise. Once that man is hit with divorce, once that man is hit with child support, that man can no longer invest in better that community. That's why if you look at, because of the high rate of divorce, look at those suburbs that are out of resources, that have bordered down houses, that have empty homes. It's because that man lost so much resources, he can't invest into his suburban home no more. He can't. You know, that's what you gotta look at. You as a man, you have to learn to look at other men's experiences as a first person perspective, first person view. First person view. Don't look at it from a third person perspective like you see his whole body. Look at what he's going through as you're going through it, as though it's a first person perspective of what's happening. And that's what divorce was. Divorce was created by the government to destabilize the resources that a man could make. Because think about it. Before divorce, before no fault divorce, you had less government programs. Once the government destabilizes a family, it has to raise welfare. It has to create all these programs that substitute what a man would give his family somewhat, but increase the government when it comes to its operations in the country. You know? Now, I'm going to do another video on that later on, but I had to touch up on that. You got to understand that woman, Dr. Dre's wife, asking for $2 million. This is money Dre could invest to create jobs. And this is the father of her children she's taking all this money from. Think about that. The father of your children. The very man that your children walk around half. This is why you have to understand as a man that, the most dangerous thing you could do to a child and to your resources right now, because of the way the law works, is actually, sad to say, is actually giving life to that child. Because giving life to that child, it's about the person that delivers that child. That person, think about it. It's that old saying, I created you and I can destroy you. That applies to the person who delivered your children. She delivered your children into this world, and she can deliver them into destruction as well. That's what the whole no fault divorce was all about. It's giving enough power to a woman's emotions to the point she can destroy her entire family, and the legacy that could be made from that, the stability that could be made from that. And a lot of red pill guys are gonna say, well, women in wealthier situations that come from a better family gonna behave. No, none of that matters no more, because she could make far more money getting married than destroying her husband. Destroying the father of her kids. Now, what I'm gonna ask you to do, this is an exercise. This is a very important exercise you as a man need to do if you want to, this is what I call divorce boot camp. This is divorce boot camp. What I want you to do, I want you to, when you get paid, when you get your check, I want you to try to live off your check for the month. Try to live off of access to only 30% of your check. Try to live off access to only 30% of your check. And I'm being reasonable here. I'm actually being laid back. Try to live a month off of just 30% of your check. Because I'm being lenient. Because here's the thing, when you get divorced, a lot of guys bring up you're gonna lose 50% and up. Yeah, but you're not only gonna lose 50%, you're gonna have to pay for the lawyer fees to go to court against your wife with the funds you're gonna be losing. You as a man, and this is what I call divorce boot camp. I'll do a video for this by itself. I just want to end this video with an exercise you as a man could practice. I want you to try to live. In fact, let me make it a little more challenging. Try to live off for an entire month just 25% of what you make. Try to live off of just 25% of what you make for just a month. This is a training for divorce payments with alimony. This is a training for your child support payments. Try to live off of just access to 20% of your paycheck. And then, comment below on a video in about a month or even a week. Just see how you'll survive. See how well you could live and how much you'll have to change if you try to live off of just 25% of your check for a month. Try that. Try that and you'll see. You'll understand what divorce means. And think about this. You're only going to go through this for a month. Now, if you really did it through divorce, you would be going through this for your entire life with alimony payments. And if it was child support, that's going to be over 18 years. 18 to 21 years of that. So I want you to try this exercise. 1 month. Try to make it to 1 month living off just 25% of your income. Try that and see how far you go. See if you could even make it a week. I doubt most will make it a week or two. We'll see what happens. And you can comment and let me know how it went. All right. This has been Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. Peace.
They said the truth won't survive beside the lies that maintain the decaying faces of